I get into some of the most interesting conversations with students sometimes. So I teach at a community college, and I have a college algebra class where the age ranges from literally 16 to 26. There's a 10-year, I just thought of that. There's exactly a 10-year range between the youngest and oldest student. One of my youngest students, these are students who are in a program called dual enrollment with the local high schools. We had this interesting exchange. Before class, we're talking about streaming services, and I asked, how many of you guys have streaming services? And everyone but one person raises their hand saying they have not only a streaming service, but of course, multiple streaming services. And then there's just this one student who doesn't have any streaming services. She just refuses to get any streaming services, right? So I make a joke saying that one day she's going to be in a crowd and all the people who've basically fallen the trend of getting streaming services are going to start screeching and pointing at her like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I was surprised by how many students got this reference. And then I said, it's kind of funny how that works on so many levels, considering it was originally an allegory for communism. And then one of my students says, really? I thought it was an allegory for capitalism. And we just kind of sat there for a moment, and I was thinking, yeah, that actually does kind of work, especially if we're thinking about something like, for example, streaming services, how everybody conforms to buying these things. How we're all presented with a limited number of choices, even though we're given the illusion of many choices. 15 studios owned by one company, 15 choices of whatever owned by one company. I do think it's interesting, though, that the students saw that movie and that fear immediately went to capitalism. When the movie came out in the 50s, some people interpreted it as communism, some people interpreted it as McCarthyism. It seems to be kind of a litmus test. So show people Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and after the movie's over, shut it off and ask them, okay, what do you think that movie was about? And that will tell you what that person is most afraid of in society.